Jeffrey Epstein's victims have waited long enough. Let the truth come out. Let transparency reign. And so, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate receives H.R. 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act from the House, the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. The bill be considered read 3 times and passed with no intervening action or debate, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection? Without objection, so ordered.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House.
Yeah, you just heard what you heard. The Senate just passed the House bill that forces the release of the Epstein files unanimously, and they made no changes to it. That is what you just watched. That was Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who went to the floor of the Senate just a few minutes ago. You heard him ask for unanimous consent. The lawmaker who was presiding over the chamber asked, is there an objection? And there was no objection, which means it's done. This bill is now technically passed. So I'm going to explain why I use the word technically in a second. But you need to understand what a huge turnaround this is. Just a few weeks ago, the Senate Majority Leader John Thune poured cold water on this whole Epstein vote. It seemed like he wouldn't even take this bill up, and now it passed by unanimous consent. Under unanimous consent procedure, if one senator had objected, the whole process would have been slowed down. But no one did. No Senate Republicans objected. No Senate Democrats objected. And again, most importantly, 0 changes were made to this bill. I reported earlier today in this video that the House Speaker and several Republicans went to the House floor and were demanding that the Senate make changes to this bill before it went to the president's desk. But that didn't happen. Why? Probably because of the veto-proof majority that the Epstein bill received in the House. It is extremely rare to have such overwhelming support for something, especially in this day and age. And the Republican leadership in both the House and the Senate, and of course the president himself, have clearly realized that this train was leaving the station, and the political will and the demand from the American people was so overwhelming that they probably should just get on board. So let's talk about that technicality. It takes a little while for the bill to physically be brought from the House side of the Capitol over to the Senate side of the Capitol. There's this old school process that has to play out. But once it finally gets to the Senate, as you just heard, it will be considered passed, and then it will go directly to the White House for President Trump's signature. Now, he has already said that he would sign this bill as it is. So we will have to wait and see what he actually does and when he chooses to sign that bill. And if and when he signs the bill, it says that the Department of Justice shall release the entirety of the Epstein files, minus the names of the victims, of course, within 30 days. And the last question is going to be, will the DOJ withhold the Epstein files because President Trump has just demanded they reopen the Epstein investigation in New York?